So this is the song I sing while I get the live stream ready. Hello, beautiful people. I'm Bonnie Gillespie, and we are going to use your moons for July 2026. This is the time when we get together with our highlighters and our calendar for the month ahead so that we can map out what the moons are gonna be doing. I know it's just one moon, but the moon is different in every sign, so it's like it's moons. We're gonna use our moons. We're gonna get in there. We're gonna talk about what they are gonna look like so that we can have some kind of order and flow to the experience of July 2026, which I'm gonna tell you now is bonkers astro. Bonkers, maybe even bizonkers. It is so out of control. Have you hugged yourself today? Even if you have, do it again because it feels good. Make sure you remember you are in a body, the world is a lot, and all that energy swirling around is definitely feeling extra, and it's only going to get a little more energized. Get that shadow side. Thank you for joining me today. Hello, replay crew. Those of you watching not in live stream but in replay, thank you for coming back around. I hope you will drop an emoji or a hello in the comments. Of course, in the live chat, I expect to see y'all. Let me know how you're doing, where you're tuning in from, and if you're excited about any of the July woo weather. I will be doing another live stream this week. It will be on Friday, the 26th of June. So join me for that because I will be doing hot seats. We'll be doing, hey, we're live, jump in the hot seat. Let's talk about your chart. Let's talk about the woo weather of the rest of 2026 and beyond, because we are headed into a whole new phase. But that's on Friday. What we are doing today is our Use Your Moons calendaring for July of 2026. If you need a calendar that looks just like mine, you have it. It is in the comments of, not comments, in the description of today's live stream. So you can grab it there. And I just totally bonked my overhead camera and sent it all sorts of flying. Let me get it recentered because we're going to be turning that on shortly. And I sent it on its own little journey all the way around all the places. Hello, Natasha. It is so good to see you. Thank you for joining me live. Hello, my husband from the next room over. I love you. Thank you for telling me you're tuning in from Santa Monica, California. Oh my God, I'm here too. Hello, Rain. So good to see you. Thank you for joining me, sweetheart. It is always such a blast. We're going to need a calendar for the month of July. We're going to need at least these 6 colors. That is blue for your moons and all of your no peopling energy. You're going to want some purple for your magic. You're going to want some orange for taking action, going forward, being seen out in the world. Pink for being heard, a little different than being seen. This one's more like a multitasking, kind of quick energy. We're going to want some black for decluttering and for ending projects. And then, of course, green for money, honey. But this also represents love and enoughness, all things Venus. I also bring over a yellow highlighter because I do need to include when we are shifting the sun signs, which we will do as we move from Cancer season to Leo season. But right now we are celebrating the very beginning of Cancer season. Let me share my screen for just a sec. Where is that one? That one is going to be, oh, this is the one that went away this time. Okay, awesome. So, hey, Keith, for those of you keeping score with my actual technology over here, it seems that we dropped out the camera that shares my screen this time. So I have my overhead, which is the one that I lost last time, but I lost my share screen on camera, which means I wouldn't be able to share my screen with you. And all I was going to do was show you the current woo weather, which is not as bonkers as what we're headed into. So just data for my husband. We are headed into Mercury retrograde. We are already in the shadow. And I would say that checks. That checks. Yep. We're in the shadow of Mercury retrograde. So if you're someone who gets your woo early, you are very definitely already feeling those snags, those little places where communication breaks down, where tech gets wonky. That's all that Mercury retrograde goodness. And all the retrograde Mercuries this year are in water signs. So of course, Mercury is in Cancer. In fact, conjunct with my natal Mercury right this second, and will be stationing retrograde in just a few days. So we are already getting that vibe, that feeling, that experience. Okay, as always on my Use Your Moons days, I like to do a little set the tone with some divination dice. So let me turn on that overhead camera after I bunked it all over the place, so it doesn't have everything framed up as well as it usually does, but that's okay. You get the point. We are going to check out my super cute astrology dice. So we have one for the sign, we have one for the houses, we have one for the planets, and we are going to put my little velvet bag there so that we don't crack those beauties when they go in there. And we have a south node in Virgo, 5th house. That is actually possible right now. I love it when we get actually possible astro in our divination dice. So south node means a drain of energy. It means karmic past. It means the stuff that we came in with that we are meant to transfer, translate, transform over the course of a lifetime. We're meant to go from our south node to our north node energetically, and the experience is one that can have a bit of struggle or resistance to it because we're going from our karmic practices, which are just very well practiced muscles, over into our north node, which is our destiny and all the goodness that we are meant to experience in this new space that we're headed into. Virgo is in fact the sign that south node is in right now, at least for another few weeks. At the end of July, we will have a nodal shift. This is something we'll be talking about on Friday. That nodal shift is going to take us into south node Leo and north node Aquarius. It is a very big deal. There's a lot of big stuff happening there. And if your Virgo is in the 5th house, this is your exact configuration. So I kind of love that. So that's telling me that Virgo energy is watching for the details, wanting to make sure that everything is just so, and noticing where things might need to be different, while the south node is saying, hey, this is old energy. This is not what we're taking with us forward. So make sure that we're getting everything wrung out from that experience. And 5th house, that is the house of having fun, of childlike glee. It is the house of your children. If you have children, it is also the house of taking risks, taking the stage, having affairs, being a little frisky, and having a good time. So let's do all that. I like that. But as far as it being draining, yeah, we're headed into a time energetically where things that we're used to doing suddenly take a lot more of our energy than we're used to, and that is part of shifting into some really big new woo weather patterns. It can at first be really challenging just to the nervous system because we're so used to a certain speed and a certain amount of pushback or energetic draw for each of the things that we do. So if you're feeling that you need a lot more rest, take it. If you're feeling like you need a lot more water, drink it. And if you're feeling like you just need a lot more space between you and other people, definitely give yourself that. So our July of 2026, I know we've got folks who love to hear the numerology of the month, so let me go ahead and set that tone as well. We are going into an 8-month numerologically. That is the month of spread those wings. We've been doing some courage building work. We've been doing some inside cat work, and we're about to go outside. We're about to rip through this little nest that we've been in and go outside and do some leading, being seen, taking flight, using these wings that we've been knitting together during this courage building phase. And for people who like the numerology of the individual days, just know that we start the month of July on a 9 numerologically, and then we start over with a 1 on the 2nd, and so on, and that will take you all the way through doing your numerology of the days if you like that. If you also like your planetary days of the week, we will note that Sunday is the Sun's day, Monday is Moon's day, Tuesday is Mars day, Wednesday, which is today, Wednesday today, is Mercury's day, bloop, bloop, bloop. That is Pluto. Let's try again. There. Put the antennas on top of the head, not under the head like on Pluto. And I was getting glyph dyslexic yesterday during Live Your Chart also. And I noticed that I had places where I had written different things that were happening for the month of July when we're going over the Aligned Hustle calendar during the membership meeting yesterday. And I was like, I wrote this with 3 different glyphs in 3 different places, none of them the right glyph. So just, yeah, that's happening. I think that's part of my, first of all, menopause brain, but also tuning in some of the new ways of communicating all the things. Thursday is Jupiter's day, Friday is Venus day, and Saturday is Saturn's day. So those of you who like to keep up with all of that as well, there you go, right across the top. The steps that we do on the Use Your Moons calendar right over here. The first step, eclipses. Do we have any eclipses in the month of July 2026? Nope, we don't. Step 1, done. All right, step 2, we do our new moons and full moons because we have at least a new moon and a full moon every month. We sometimes will get another one of those depending on how early and late in the month things are happening. But in the month of July, we just have a new moon right smack in the middle of it. That's because in July, we have a new moon right in the middle of it because at the end of June, we get a full moon, leading us into a very intense beginning to July. Just know that as we end the month of June and build up into the month of July, we are starting off with a lot of pop-off kind of woo weather. And again, we'll be talking about this at my live stream on Friday. Please make sure you come. Go to BonnieGillespie.com/events to get the direct link or to know when I'm doing all the things that I am doing. I try to keep that updated at least a few weeks in advance. So when is our new moon in the month of July? Our new moon in Cancer is happening on the 14th. So we're going to have our new moon in Cancer on the 14th of July. And then we are going to have our full moon 2 weeks later, and the full moon will be the full moon in Aquarius because we're actually backwards in the direction we're doing these for just a few more months, and then we'll flip back to getting the new moon and then the full moon for the same season. But right now we've already had our full moon in Capricorn by the time we're into July. So by the time we're into July, we get just the new moon in Cancer, and then we get the full moon in Aquarius, which is the other side of the Leo new moon that we'll get at the end of Leo season in August. But we'll talk about that next month. So when is the full moon in Aquarius? I'm so glad you asked. It is on the 29th of July. So we're going to go full moon in Aquarius on the 29th. And that is a big astro day as well. Just this whole last couple of weeks of July and the first weekend of July are so much woo weather. It is, like I said at the top, bunkers or even bazonkers. It is definitely all sorts of wild. But hey, we're done with step 2. That's our new moon and our full moon put on the calendar. We've got those in place. So now we can move into step 3. Step 3 are our directional arrows. What directions do we go in off the new moon and off the full moon energetically? And these arrows basically just describe that you are either building in energy as you do things, and it's easier to get things done because the energy is moving up and increasing with you, or you are finding that the energy is a little more draining. It takes a little more out of you to do the things, and the work that you do doesn't seem to have as big an impact. That's what the directional arrows mean. They don't mean bad days, good days. It's just an energetic shift for how we are experiencing the energy coming off of this new moon and full moon experience. And so since we enter the month off a full moon, it means we are already coming into July with our arrows moving down. The energy is coming off a full moon, and that means we are moving down. We're losing light. The moon is getting smaller in the way it looks because of the amount of light that is reflecting off it when we are looking up at it in the sky. And then as we get to the new moon, we are at the darkest part of the night sky. We get our new moon in complete darkness. That moon is invisible. We're planting seeds under it as we get that first sliver of light that grows after we get the new moon. And so that means on the 15th of July, our arrows change directions. We start moving in an energy building way. We start finding that things are energizing, and it is having a bigger impact when we do the things that we do. Then we get a full moon on the 29th of July, as already discussed, which means our arrows change direction again, and this time they go back down, 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 because we are losing light off that full moon. And just like that, step 3 is over. How you doing with things? Everything good? Let me check my chatty chat. I know we are a small group for the live, so I don't expect a ton of chatter, but just in case, I like to have a look. Just make sure that if there are any questions or if someone's saying, Bonnie, your microphone is broken or something, that I would be able to find out there. We're going to move on to step 4. Step 4 are the phases of the moon. We already have 2 of the phases right there on the calendar, new moon, full moon. Those are the 2 big phase features that we notice in any given month, but we have 8 phases that we actually keep up with in terms of benchmarks to the energy in Use Your Moons. And we start with, since we're coming off a full moon, we start with a disseminating phase, and we're not technically all the way into the disseminating phase by degree until we are at Friday the 3rd of July. So at this point, we are in our disseminating phase. Easy to remember because the light is going down off that full moon. It is disseminating. It is moving away from brightness and into darkness. And then about a week later, we get just a few days later, we get our next phase check because we are getting 2 phases per week that are going to map out on the calendar. And so just about a week before the new moon, we should have our last quarter phase. And in fact, we do. It is on the 7th. And so we're getting our last quarter moon on the 7th. And that is going to be a time where, yes, the energy is moving down, 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 but we're going to get that square of the sign that the moon is in to the sign the sun is in. And so that square is going to give us an opportunity to do some self-check. How's everything looking as we are losing light and changing our relationship with the vibe and the energy that it takes to get things done? Do we have any more things that we need to problem solve around before we really start to shut things down for the next phase? And this next phase is the most private, the quietest phase. It is the phase that we get as we're going into my solar return, because I am a July Cancer baby and I get my solar return on the 10th, even though my birthday is the 11th. Solar return is when the degree is back at the exact point, as opposed to the day that you were born being what is celebrated. That's why you'll see a lot of astrologers wish each other happy solar return, because you're celebrating when the sun is back at the exact degree of the place it was at your birth versus the day being the same. And that's why sometimes it is off by a day. So on the 10th of July, when I get my solar return, we will be having the balsamic phase. And that balsamic phase is the darkest, quietest, most magic time. It is when we are meant to really go within and keep things quiet and know people, not K-N-O-W people, but N-O, know people. And then on the 11th, we celebrate that it is my birthday. And I enter into a new perfection year, and I am so excited to be in my 9th house perfection, because my 8th house perfection was absolutely all the 8th house in terms of other people having control over my money, people dying, and issues that are typical to the 8th house being completely out of my control. I am so ready for my 9th house perfection year, which starts in just a few weeks. Yay! We're going to have another talk about perfections. We probably will talk about that a little bit on Friday in the live stream when we do some hot seats, but also in general, that is a talk that I feel that I need to do again. I need to have a refresh on that. I'm not sure if I want to do it as a webinar or just another live stream. I enjoy the live streams, so we will see what ends up on the calendar as we go. We're still working on phases. We have that new moon, and then after the new moon, we start increasing in light and we move to our crescent phase, and we get that about a week after the balsamic phase. Sure enough, on the 17th, we are in our crescent phase of the moon. So we have gained light, but we're not yet at the first quarter moon. We get the first quarter moon 1 week after the new moon, and sure enough, on the 21st, we are in our first quarter moon. So we got last quarter, new moon, first quarter, those fall right in line together, and then the full moon is off by 1 day from that week pattern, because it's a little more than 7 days between each things, because the moon cycle is not just 28 days, it's 28 and a half days, 28 and a third days. So that is part of why that is making a little bit of adjustment in man's calendar to fit the lunar calendar, which is so beautiful. Gives us 13 moons a year, 13 lunar returns a year, all that beautiful stuff. We're not done with our phases. We have one more, and it is going to be between the first quarter moon and the full moon, and that's going to be when we get our gibbous moon, and that's going to now be over here on the 25th. The gibbous moon is we're off that first quarter moon, so we're bigger, 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 brighter, 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 but not yet at the full moon. And so when we are moving toward that and we're building in that pressure, we're getting closer and closer to that opposition, which is what we have on the 29th, and that is growing in light. And those are our 8 lunar phases. Let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Boom! We got them. Number 4, dunzo. Now we're going to do the signs. I'm going to take some water. Yeah. Let's do the signs. We start the month on a Capricorn moon, but by noon Pacific on the 1st, we're into an Aquarius moon. So we're going to go ahead and just put the Aquarius moon there. I'll put a tiny little Capricorn over on the line there, over on the edge, because we do have Capricorn moon earlier that day and all in the overnight on the 1st. So we've got Aquarius moon on the 2nd. We move into our Pisces moon very late on Friday night, the 3rd. So if you are not in Pacific Coast time like I am, you will actually not get your Pisces moon until the 4th. But we're going to have the Aquarius moon most of the day, shifting into a Pisces moon at 11:30 p.m. PST. And that's the only reason I'm putting that there is because I know I have folks that are watching from all over the world, and I want to make sure that you are noticing when that's going to actually happen for you, and not just me, because that one is so late at night. So we have a Pisces moon on the 4th. We have a Pisces moon on the 5th. Okay. And then we, on the 6th, get our Aries moon. Boom. And then we have our Aries moon during our last quarter. That makes sense because it's a Cancer sun, Aries moon. Last quarter is a square, so both of those signs are cardinal signs. They share the same modality. That checks out. Then we move from our Aries moon to our Taurus moon on the 8th. And our Taurus moon happens at 1:30 p.m. Pacific. And so I'm putting that Aries moon on that little edge of the day there as well, because the first part of the day is very definitely an Aries moon. Then we have Taurus moon on the 9th. And then on the 10th, late afternoon, we get our Gemini moon. So we've got shared between a Taurus and Gemini vibe on the 10th. And I think my solar return chart has a Gemini moon. Yeah. My solar return chart has a Gemini moon, has a balsamic moon. That's an interesting one for a solar return chart. I have a first quarter moon in my natal chart. Anyway, Gemini, then again, over here on the 11th, and we get a Gemini moon changing into the Cancer moon on the 13th, on the 12th, I lied, on the 12th. On the 12th, we move into that Cancer moon. We have the Cancer moon on the 13th. We have the Cancer moon on the 14th because, of course, new moon in Cancer. So we've already got that one there, right? Oh, shouldn't draw an arrow because that arrow is going to make it look like the directional arrows that we already have. So we've got that. There we go. We'll use an underline instead of an arrow there. We have the new moon in Cancer on the 14th, but then we shift into a Leo moon, and that shift happens at 3:35 p.m. Pacific on the 14th. So right after that new moon in Cancer, we get our moon in Leo, and then that means we have a Leo moon on the 15th. We have a Leo moon most of the 16th, and then we shift into a Virgo moon on the 16th. And that Virgo moon, of course, is what we also have on the 17th. And on the 18th, we have a Virgo moon pretty much the whole day, and then at 9:56 p.m. Pacific. So again, this is one that if you are in non-Pacific time zones, you're going to actually experience your Libra moon happening on the 19th, not on the 18th, because it's happening so late. So on the 18th, late, we move into our Libra moon, which means we have a Libra moon on the 19th. Pardon my penmanship on that one. On the 20th, we have some big astro stuff happening. It is the cauldron pattern, and I'm so here for it. We talked about that in Live Your Chart yesterday, and I'll be talking about it again on Friday in the live stream because it is exciting and it's happening to all our charts. It's going to be interesting in terms of the generational energy that is going on as a part of it, but for us as individuals, we want to look at where that's overlaying in our charts and take advantage of it. We are in the Libra moon when we get that first quarter moon because we're still in Cancer season, But then very quickly at 6:34 a.m. Pacific, we move into a Scorpio moon, and this is also the last full day of Cancer sun, which means we have Leo sun joining us at, if you're curious about the time, 12:13 p.m. Pacific on the 22nd. And so we're in a Scorpio moon on that Leo sun on the 22nd, and we have Scorpio moon most of the day on the 23rd, and then we move into a Sagittarius moon. We then have Sagittarius moon on the 24th. That definitely matches that arrow. I love it. We also have that Sagittarius moon on the 25th, and then on the 26th at 6:44 a.m. we move to our Capricorn moon. So that one's pretty early. Capricorn moon then happens on the 27th, and then we move into our Aquarius moon later on the 28th. We got the full moon in Aquarius on the 29th. The 30th is still an Aquarius moon. And then early on the 31st, we're in our Pisces moon again. And that is the signs part of our Use Your Moons calendar. We're about to color. Get your highlighters, crayons, etc. ready. We are going to color. Checked on the chat. Y'all good? Let's do it. I'm going to start with this sun changing signs because that is the reason I keep my yellow highlighter out. Otherwise, I would not be using it. The sun is changing signs on the 22nd. We will be moving from Cancer season to Leo season, and we want to highlight that because what that means is the whole general vibe of July up until the 22nd is soups and mosh. Cancer season, if you've not noticed, is a time when we all are a little bit more sensitive. We're a little bit extra with our emotions. We're feeling more protective. We're feeling more anxious, worried about other people and what they need. And that's because Cancer is the sign of the mother and the nurturer and the energy of taking care of people. And so that can really translate into nervous energy around what's happening, how's everybody doing, can I make sure that everybody's okay, and feeling a lot of emotions that are not even ours. And so that is a big signature of the energy of Cancer in general. When we move to Leo season, this is one of the biggest shifts energetically throughout the zodiac. Like we change from one sign to the next, and there are all the memes out there about how it feels to change from one sign to the next sign, and like all the characters that those memes have us using, and they are always hilarious and great and accurate. But the one between Cancer and Leo is one of the biggest changes. The best meme I've seen on this is your Cancer sun is Taylor Swift about to accept the Moon Man at the music video awards on MTV, and then Kanye stepping in and taking the mic, and I'm gonna let you finish, is Leo sun coming in and taking that energy. And it's not that Leo is no look at me, although Leo is a little no look at me. It's just that Cancer is so sweet and looking out for you, and will cut a bitch if you are coming at her babies. So she can use that claw. Don't forget that. She'll pinch off a pecker. She will. But Leo is so just, let's take the spotlight, let's take the mic, let's center ourselves, let's actually own some of this fire that is coming from Leo. And that change between Cancer and Leo season is one of the biggest in terms of just difference between the two signs. And so I wanted to make sure to mark that up on the 22nd of July. So now we're finished with yellow, I think. All right, I'm going to go through quickly with my highlighters and highlight these planetary days of the week that I did up top, because if you're someone who likes to celebrate the planetary days of the week, these color codes are going to help you a great deal. Of course, the color code I've got on my version of the calendar, and if you downloaded my version of the calendar, you have those color codes too, and I said them at the top, but let's just do them again for shiggles. We've got blue for no people, purple for decluttering, black for decluttering, pretend I said black for decluttering. We've got orange for taking action. We've got pink for multitasking. We've got green for money, honey, and we've got purple for magic. And my printer just was dark enough that I decided those were the same, that black and purple was the same, but they're not. Okay, so pink for Mercury's day, multitask, purple for Jupiter's day, because magic, and then green for Friday, Venus's day, and black for Saturday, Daddy Saturn's day, saying, let's declutter, let's close things off, let's end cycles. That is big Saturn energy. All right. So we start on a Capricorn vibe that goes into an Aquarius vibe. And Aquarius is a combination of black for Daddy Saturn and pink for the air sign. So that combination of I'm closing things off, I am rooting things in a Saturn reality with traditional rulership, but I am all the air. So Aquarius moon is when Keith says, okay, so now we never shut up, right? Aquarius moon, yeah, we never shut up. This is just like all the ideas. We're going to stay up all night because all the ideas are going to be flowing, flowing, flowing. And because we have this energy again at the end of the month, I'm going to go ahead and color up the end of the month and write on myself too. I love writing on myself. That's fun. I used to actually really love writing on myself. Okay, there we go. But then I got tattoos and I realized I could just get tattoos. I don't have to write on myself. So we get that Aquarius moon at the end of the month as well. So we've got a bookend there of that energy of just, I have all the ideas, all the ideas, all the ideas, all the ways to break all the rules. Then as we move into our disseminating moon, we get a little color burst of what the disseminating moon is about. I'm going to put that on the calendar as well as I sweep up my hair. We're going to go to the disseminating moon, giving us more black energy. Also, I will come back around and do a lap on this calendar of some of the big woo weather moments because July is so packed full of them. And I want to make sure to add the colors of those issues onto the calendar so that we're not missing out on those big features because those big woo weather shifts are going to definitely bring colors of their own. Late on the 3rd, we get our Pisces moon. If we're in Pacific time, if we are not in Pacific time, we don't actually get this until the 4th. But this Pisces moon is both purple and blue. Purple because magic ruled by Jupiter in traditional rulership, and blue because water sign, and all water signs get a burst of blue because we definitely feel that. Then we get our Aries moon on the 6th. We're definitely going to have some orange there. Fire, 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 fire. That's all. Oh, let me come back over here because at the end of the month, we're in Pisces again. So I don't want to forget my last moon of the month of July now, do I? All right. Then we move into Taurus moon green for Venus rulership. And being the master manifester, that Taurus moon manifests better than anybody else. Then we move into a Gemini moon and balsamic moon, Gemini moon, tough combination. And I know I get this one baked into my solar return chart. So that Gemini moon wants to be very social, wants to be very, let's talk through all the ideas, let's writer's room this, let's yes and one another. And balsamic is like, no people. Balsamic is that energy of the magic of almost like a Pisces moon. So we're going to give it a little blue and a little purple. And I realized I did not do my last quarter color coding. So my last quarter phase back here gets almost like an Aquarius vibe because it's got that black for last looks before we go into the darkness. And like, is there anything else we need to problem solve? Pink for taking a little bit of action in that last quarter vibe. Okay, back on to the color of the signs. We're in Cancer moon on the 12th and 13th. And of course, on our new moon on the 14th, the new moon also brings us a little bit of orange vibe to it because it's seed planting. So it's got that potential energy. So it's like that orange is built into the seed. It's like that kinetic, like there's some potential in there, and we don't know what the new moon energy is really going to be until it sprouts. But we also get the Leo moon bringing orange to it, and that's on a Tuesday, which is Mars Day. So there's a lot more orange to that 14th than it may look when you think new moon in Cancer. That's going to be so blue. It is, but it's also going to be lots of orange. So then, not lots of, lots of orange because Mars Day, orange because Leo moon, and then a little bit of orange in the new moon energy. Numerologically, that's a 4-day, so that's got black to it, but numerology is a whole separate overlay of chart harmony that I will let you play with me over in the Discord server. If you're not a part of the Chart Harmony Discord server, come on over, come join us. You know, along with hitting like on this video, there are little things that you can do that don't cost any kind of money that support what we're doing with chart harmony and how we are able to do things out in the world with you and for you. So please think about doing that. Our Virgo moon is going to take us into black energy. This is not the Saturn kind of black energy, but the seriousness and the focusedness of that Virgo vibe, and that dealing with earth sign issues. That is where we get that black vibe of sort of organizing and going through all the details of decluttering. So it's got that same vibe that Saturn brings to things. That crescent moon energy is very much green. And of course, on Friday, which is Venus's day, we get a little extra with that. I love it. And then late on the 18th, we get our Libra moon. And so that is going to be a combo of green for that Venus rulership and pink for air sign. Go Libra. Of course, you got to do two things because Libra, it's two things. Okay, then on the 21st, when we move into our Scorpio moon, Scorpio is a lot. Scorpio is a little bit of black because Scorpio goes deep. Research. Blue because water moon, duh, of course. And then just the tiniest little bit of green because manifesting and dealing great with money. Those are features that are common to our Scorpio sign, and of course the Scorpio moon itself. First quarter moon, this is when we do some problem solving. This one has a very orange vibe for problem solving. So again, on a Tuesday, Mars day, we get more orange because of the phase of the moon. So take it. And also, this is shifting the moon into Scorpio. Scorpio moon can get super sensitive, and can decide it's all about like, why are you, what is it? What do you know that I don't know? And so just go easy on that, especially as we're at the last day of Cancer season. That double water and the water with that Scorpio moon specifically, and the end of Cancer season can feel like a lot of like self-criticism. We also have another big woo weather feature for the last couple of weeks of July, which I'll get to in just a second, and that overlays this week in general. Then we move to our Sagittarius moon. Sagittarius is purple because ruled by Jupiter. And of course, Jupiter, just like Jupiter's day, has purple. It's all about luck and bling, add more glitter, go more places, take more adventures. And Sagittarius, of course, being a fire sign, we're going to put some orange on there to give it that fire. We have our gibbous moon phase here at the end of the 25th. And so we're going to put in a little bit more black for that seriousness of just last looks before we do our big full moon show. The theater kid metaphor, I love to use. I missed a little bit of my Sagittarius moon here. So let me give just a little bit of this color over here as well. And then, of course, we end with this Capricorn moon, Daddy Saturn energy. Capricorn moon then goes into Aquarius moon, which we've already done with our black and pink on it, and then a Pisces moon at the very end of the month with that purple and blue. Ta-da! We have done our colors. Now we're going to do special bonus overlay of woo weather stuffs, because boy do we have it. And I'm kind of glad now that I don't have my screen share enabled, because I was going to show y'all something that I will save for Friday's live stream. I was going to show you something on the actual chart of the time, and it will be something that I will share with y'all on that next time that we meet on Friday for Friday for the words live stream on Hot Seats. Choose your adventure, hop in, bring your questions. We're going to look at your chart. We're going to look at the woo weather coming up for July and just talk through a whole bunch of different things, because there's just so many things that I wanted to cover. I couldn't pick a topic. So I went to my Discord, my Chart Harmony Discord, and I said, what do y'all want to do? And it was determined that we were going to have folks here with us that can hop into Hot Seats. Let's do some of that. And also that'll allow us to talk through some of the woo weather that's happening in general. I'm just putting a little bit of color up here because I popped that 8 up here for the 8 numerology, and I just want to give the little color code for that monthly numerology as well. All right, so what are some of the big features that we're going to be experiencing? The thing that we're moving toward starting at the end of June, and at the end of June we get not only that big full moon, but we also get a build toward this conjunction. We're building also toward an opposition We've got Mercury going retrograde on the 29th. So we have that big full moon plus Mercury retrograde plus Jupiter moving into Leo. There is a whole lot of stuff on June 29th that is pushing toward where we're going to land on the 3rd of July. And this place we're going to land on the 3rd of July is Mars conjunct Uranus. Woo! Mars conjunct Uranus is a whole thing. Now, Mars is conjunct Uranus every 2 years, so it's not like, oh, this never happens, what do we do? This happens every 2 years, but it is happening for the first time in our lifetime that it's going to be in the sign of Gemini. It hasn't happened like that in 80 some odd years. So we are going to be having Mars, which is, of course, bringing that orange, and Uranus is going to give us a combination of some black, but mostly pink. And when I get to the outers, the colors are kind of a little less official, because the outers are more for modern astrology, and the practice of chart harmony and planetary remediation in general is from back in traditional astrology. So the rest has kind of been crafted after what was originally set. But I'm going to put all those colors on the 3rd, because when Mars gets onto Uranus, it's like Mars has been looking for a way to start a fight or to start fire, and Uranus is hanging out like this old abandoned dynamite factory and or warehouse filled with dynamite that we're not sure, does it even explode anymore, because it's been there for a really long time. And Mars has been in Taurus going flick 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 with an old Zippo lighter, and it's not working because, you know, Mars in Taurus takes a long time to get mad. It's not that Mars in Taurus can't get mad, it's just it's going to take a lot to get Mars Taurus mad. And so Mars has been going flick flick flick, I can't really get mad over here in Taurus, and then it's going to step into Gemini, and there's air, and all that air is going to go and let that Zippo lighter finally take flight with the fire. And all that's going to happen right as Mars is crossing over this possibly abandoned dynamite warehouse of Uranus. Patow! And all this happens after Jupiter has moved into Leo, which is a fire sign, while Mercury is retrograde. Mercury is the ruler of Gemini, the sign in which this is happening. And when the ruler of the sign is retrograde, it means all sorts of things happen that are different than what we're expecting. And coming off of that full moon energy, which was a lot, full moon in Capricorn, the resistance between the hustle culture and the appropriation of and weaponization of Capricorn that has happened in all of our hustle culture society, versus that nurturing, mothering energy of Cancer saying, let's take care of our needs first. And Capricorn's like, no, we got to work. I'll sleep when I'm dead. All of that energy swirls to this 250th birthday party for the United States of America, at a time when united is not the first word I would use to describe what's going on. It's just going to be a lot. It's just going to be a lot. That is a combustive experience, potentially. Every astrologer is saying don't travel, try not to do anything that would be outside of your comfort zone or with people that you don't really know, because we just don't know what's going to happen. And we want to make sure that you are in that Cancer sun season feeling close to home and having your needs met with the supplies that you have at home, because who knows what's going to happen. More on that on Friday. Please do join us. All right, next big woo weather that I want to add on to this calendar, and there's a lot. I could choose to add a lot, but I'm going to just say that what we have here in this last full week of July, so from the 20th to like the 24th, we build a shape in the chart that's called the cauldron. We'll be talking about that on Friday the 25th. If you join me for my 26th, Friday the 25th, 26th, if you join me for my live stream on June 26th, right here on the YouTubes, we have this cauldron shape that is going to be overlaid on all of our charts, and it is going to be a pot filled with magic stew. And the question is, what spell will you be creating in this space? Because the spell is going to be held together by Jupiter and Uranus and Neptune and Pluto. And then as Chiron changes signs and moves into Taurus, it is going to give us a preview of what Chiron and Taurus is going to be like. We've already been talking about that here on my channel. Watch back to previous live stream if you missed it, part 1 of Chiron and Taurus. And it's going to move Chiron into Taurus into a lovely little square with Jupiter in Leo as one of the handles of that cauldron. It is just a really interesting time of all those outers plus Jupiter holding space in this little pot of magic somewhere on our charts. And this is going to be in the signs of Aquarius, and it'll pass over Pisces to Aries, and it'll pass over Taurus. Well, Taurus will have Chiron, of course, and then through Gemini for Uranus, and pass through Cancer to get up to Leo, where Jupiter will hold that whole cauldron together at 4 degrees. So especially if you have 4 degrees anything in your chart, you're going to want to check this. And if you're like, well, I don't have 4, but I have 3 or I have 5, we're going to talk. You're definitely going to want to notice where this is reverberating all through your chart, because it's a pretty big deal. But this cauldron that is happening as we go into this big week of woo weather is potentially brilliant and wonderful and filled with all kinds of magic spells that we will continue to pull from and drink from and pour from, or put into little containers and make amulets and have little trinkets that we take with us out into the world that we pull from this spell place and go forward into this new energy that we're going to be experiencing for the rest of 2026. Or it could be a bucket of crazy, like, I don't know what. There was a AXS, Access Television, AXS, that channel has, it just runs constantly these top 10 music lists, and I love music, so when I'm not watching anything in particular and I just want music on, I'll watch Access, because they're doing like top 10 lists of music, best whatevers. And recently they had done one that was the top 10 songs with crazy in the title, and there are a lot of songs with crazy in the title, so to pick 10 was fun, and I really enjoyed all the different interpretations of that word in particular. And I mean it in all the best, like, crazy on you, heart, big guitar, big hair music, and a little bit of CeeLo, a little bit of Gnarls Barkley, not CeeLo, obviously CeeLo, member of Gnarls Barkley, but the crazy was Gnarls Barkley, not CeeLo, not the point Gillespie. What questions might you have before we part ways here in Use Your Moons for July of 2026? Are there any particular days that you need to know about? Is there any energy that you are kind of like, about, that you would like questions answered around? Do you have something scheduled that you want to check to be sure? Like, does it need to get moved or wiggled around? We had someone in Live Your Chart yesterday who was like, I have something big scheduled for tomorrow. And I was like, it's not the best day for the thing that you have scheduled. And she's like, well, then what do I do? And I was like, use planetary hours. Like, can you look to the planetary hours to be able to lean into the energy that you're trying to catch as you go into anything? If you're in a situation where the astrology of the day itself doesn't really lend itself to the colors that you need. For example, you're trying to do something that's very out and in public, and so you need orange, you need green, you need pink, you like want those energies, and instead you've got black and blue and maybe a little bit of purple, and it's like, oh, it all wants to be inside energy. What do? I'm like, go to sun hour, go to Mars hour. Even go to Venus hour, in that it gives you that enoughness that you're looking for. Like, there are ways to get what you need from within the planetary hours, if not the days themselves with the woo weather colors. So we can always find a way to get what we need. And my technique from a previous live stream of catch that bus. We can catch the bus in our charts. Those transits allow us to catch buses to all the other places that we need to visit in our own charts or in the woo weather of the now. Lisa, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for saying hello. It is always a delight to see you. And I know that I have not been looking at chat until now, so I'm not sure how long ago you popped in with a hello, but hello and almost goodbye. We're almost done. I'm going to do last call for questions while I do one last foofing of my hair. And I think I'm going to just keep it down altogether now that we are almost done with our time. More than anything, y'all, for this July 2026 woo weather, I want you to just remember that you can create calm. This is the post-it that I made when we started talking about Uranus in Gemini. We can create calm. We may have to get very creative about how we create calm, but we can create calm. We can. The world is doing a lot to be chaotic, and not the world. The people of the world are chaos dealers, and they are getting us hooked on chaos and doing a really good job of pimping out their most effective drug for control. Chaos. We can create calm. Find your latest moon hour, which we get all the planetary hours all the time. I will link to the planetary hours live stream that I did in the description when I go through and edit for time code later, so that you will be able to go watch that live stream next if it helps you get clear on how you can use some planetary hours to your advantage. But grab a moon hour. Grab a moon hour and just do moon things. That's perfect for Cancer season. Moon things. Get in water. Take a nap. Read a book. Eat some comfort food. Have some ice cream for breakfast, for crying out loud. It's so good. Do things that are meant to make you feel nurtured and held and safe and small. The moon is here to remind us that there is nothing wrong with that status. And in fact, we require it. We need that recharge that comes from taking rest, from being small, from being nourished, from getting our needs met. The moon, of course, for all of us, whatever our natal moon is in, is the backseat driver of our life car. And so we are always looking for, how can my moon feel safe and get needs met while I'm on this road that I take every day in my life car. Thank you for joining me, everyone. I really appreciate you. Definitely say hello in the comments as we continue forward for this month ahead. I will circle back around and answer any questions that you have. Come by our Discord, link in the description for you to join us there. And until next time, mwah, love you much. Take good care of yourselves. Bye.